What's going on, everyone? Jason here again, and in this video I'll be creating another React app using an API. So the API we'll be using is the Coindesk API, and we'll be using that API to fetch the current Bitcoin price. So we'll be displaying the price here and in different currencies as well. So all of that data will be from the API, and also we'll be displaying the Bitcoin price for the past 31 days as well in this chart format. And this chart is from a library called Apex Charts. So we'll be making use of that. So that's the project we'll be building. And also real quick, if you're new to the channel, I create weekly videos on JavaScript and React related content. So if you're interested in that type of content, go ahead and subscribe down below. All right, so then I created this project using create react app. So if you have Node.js installed in your terminal, you can do an npx create react app and the name of your project. So I already did that, so we don't need to worry about that. And also I forgot to mention, we'll be installing a couple more things. So we'll be installing Semantic UI React and Semantic UI CSS. So those are the CSS libraries we'll be using to create some of the styling. And also, if you go to the Semantic UI React website, in the getting started section, you'll go ahead and copy this snippet here. And in your app, you can go ahead and paste that in there. And that's basically to get the CSS for all those UI components that we'll be using. Well, it's only going to be 2, but yeah. So we'll do that. And then we'll start up our app real quick. So here's our app loaded up. And we're going to remove a few things here. So in app.css, we'll go ahead and remove all of that code. We won't be using it. And we'll delete some of this boilerplate in there. So we'll delete that. So we'll do an h1, do hello. All right, so that's looking good. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and fetch the data from the API. So to do that, first we'll import useState and useEffect from React. Inside of the app function, we'll create our state variables. We'll do a loading state to indicate when we are loading the data. And we'll do, let's see, use state, and we'll do true for the initial state. And then the second state will be price data, and that'll be all of our data for the price, the Bitcoin price. And then we'll do a use state. Initial state will be null. And then the other state will be currency. And then we'll do a set currency. And then we'll do a use state. The initial currency will be US dollars. All right, cool. And now we'll make use of useEffect. useEffect takes 2 arguments. It takes in a function and a dependency array. Since we are only going to call this useEffect when the component renders to the DOM, initially when the page loads, we want to give it an empty array here, so that way it only runs one time. And then in here, we'll create a function. So this will be an async function. Okay. And we'll create a variable, call it res, do a wait, and then we'll do fetch to fetch our data. So the API endpoint will be this right here. So this is the website for the Coindesk API, and it shows kind of the different endpoints you could hit. So the endpoint we'll be hitting will be this one. And that will be giving us this back, and we'll actually be making use of this data right here. So we'll go ahead and paste that in there. Whoops. Cool. So we have our res, and then we'll get our data by doing an await res.json. And once we have that, we'll go ahead and do a set price data, and we'll take data.bpi, because that'll be the data that we'll be setting in our state. And then we'll do set loading equal to false, since we already got the data back. All right, so that looks good. Very cool. All right, and also before I forget, we need to do a fetch data here to actually call our fetch function. All right, so now that we have that, let's go ahead and create our nav bar real quick. So we'll do a div, call it nav, give it some styles, and we'll give it a padding of, let's see, 15 pixels all around, and a background color of, let's do gold. And then we'll just do Coindesk for the text API data. All right, so let's see how that looks. All right, so that's looking good. And the next thing we'll do is then we'll just display the other UI components that we have here. So that'll be the select and the price. So down here we can do another div. Let's see, so we'll do another div and let's see, oh, sorry, not another div, but we'll do curly braces. And we're going to check if loading is true. So if loading is true, we want to make sure we display a loader. So in here, we'll do a div, and then we'll do a dimmer with the prop of active and inverted. And this is a Semantic UI React component. So we'll be importing these shortly. And then we'll do loader. So that's another Semantic component. And then loading. Okay. So if loading is true, we'll display that. If loading is not true, then we'll display something else, we'll do a React fragment here to wrap our JSX code. All right, so then in here, we'll do a div, give it a class name of price container. And price container will have some style. And we'll give this a display of flex, and then a justify content of, I believe it was space around. And then we'll do align items. Oops, believe I need a comma there. We'll do align items and do center. And width, we'll give it 600, and height will be 300. I believe that should be it. One more thing, we'll give it a margin, so we'll do a string with 0 and auto there. There we go. Okay, so inside this div, we'll create two more divs. First one will be the form, which will be the select input. So we'll do form there. And then we'll do the select component from Semantic UI. Give this a placeholder of, let's see, I believe that was select your currency. And then we'll do, let's see, an on change. So we'll be creating a function to handle the when the user selects a new input. And then after that, we'll do, let's see, I believe it was, oh yeah, so options. So options will be the options in our select component, and we'll create an array of those options. So real quick, let me import some of these UI components. First one was dimmer, and then the other one was loader. And then I believe it was, so dimmer, loader, and select. There we go. From Semantic UI React. There we go. All right, and here we'll create our options array real quick. It'll be an array of objects. Let's see. And then this will have two properties of value. So we'll do USD for the first one. And then text will be USD. Second one will be euros. And text is euros. And the third one will be, let's see, GBP. And then text is GBP. There we go. And we'll also create our function here for handle select. Handle select will be a function, and all this will do is it will take the, let's see, it's going to take the event and data, and then basically we're just going to set currency inside here based off whatever the value is in our data.value argument there. Okay, so that is looking good. Let's go ahead and save it, see if we get any errors. All right, as you can see, you can see a loading thing here real quick. And let's see, I believe I need to change align item to align items. And there we go. Very cool. All right, so now we'll create the price section here. So we'll do a div, and we'll just give it a class name of price. And then we'll do a card, and inside card, we'll create a card dot content. Inside there, we'll do card dot, let's see, header. And in there, we'll do currency. And we'll just do currency like that. And then we'll do card dot description. And in here, we'll go ahead and display price data currency dot rate. And we need to import the card component. All right, there we go. And so real quick, so just to explain this, so price data, so that's going to be in our state, and it's going to be this object right there, and we're accessing a certain property on that object, and we're accessing the currency. So based off whatever our currency is set to, whether it's USD, euros, or pounds, we're going to do it like that. That way it'll give us the corresponding object for that currency. And then we're just grabbing the rate, which is the rate for that currency. So that would be this property right there. So that's how that's working right there. And as you can see, let's see if we switch, it changes. So that's looking good. We got that working. And the last thing we'll do is display the charts for our Bitcoin price for the past 31 days. So this is the website for the Apex Charts library. So we'll need to install the these two libraries here. So Apex Charts and Apex Charts, or Apex Charts React, Apex Charts, and Apex Charts. So let's install those real quick. Let's see. So while that is installing, let's go ahead and see how this works. So basically, we'll make use of their chart component, and that component takes in some props. So option, series, type, and width. And for options, as you can see, they have a in their state, they have a options object with these different properties. We'll just be using this x-axis property. So that'll be an object with categories. And categories is what will be along the x-axis. So if we go to our Bitcoin API, we'll be hitting this endpoint. And this is the data that we'll get back. So it'll give us the key here, which is the date, and the value, which will be the price for Bitcoin at that time. And basically all of the keys here we'll use as the categories. We'll put all those keys in an array. And then for the series, this will be an array with an object, we'll give it a name, and the data. So the data will be an array of all the values for these categories, and we'll be using the values here. So we'll be grabbing all of these and putting it in an array and setting it there. And yeah, and this will also be a line chart. So now that we have that installed, let's go ahead and start it up. And oops. So in here, we'll do an import of charts from React Apex charts. Okay. And also we will set some other state variables. So we'll do a variable for the chart data, and then we'll do set chart data, and we'll do a use state of null, and then we'll do another use state, and that will be a series, and then we'll do set series, and that will be an initial state of null. So chart data will correspond to our x-axis object there, and then series will just correspond to the series. I can probably name this different just so it makes a little more sense. I'll just leave it for now. Okay, so now I actually want to create a function, and I'm going to call this function getChartData. Whoops, that should be like that. This will be an async function. So in here, we'll go ahead and do a res equal to await, and then we'll fetch the data. Where is that? There we go. So we'll use that endpoint, and we'll go ahead and copy that. And then we'll do a const data equal to await res.json. And then we'll do another variable. We'll call this categories. And then we'll set that equal to data, or I'm sorry, no, not data. We'll set that equal to, let's see, object.keys. Inside keys, we'll pass in data dot BPI. And what object.keys is, it basically gets all the keys off whatever object you pass inside of it and turn it into an array of keys. So now we have our categories array, and then we'll do our series as well. So we'll be making use of object.values. And this is similar to object.keys, but instead we're getting the values from that object. And then we're going to now set our state. So we'll do set chart. And in here we'll pass x-axis. That'll be a property with an object, property object. And then we'll do categories equal to categories. And then we'll do set series. And then this will be an array, and then it'll be an object. Name, we'll give it Bitcoin price. And then the series is, I'm sorry, not series, data. And that'll be the series array. All right, very cool. And then down here, we'll do set loading to false. And we're actually gonna update our use effect function here. So we'll remove the set loading, and then we'll call it getChartData, since we want to make sure we get the data for the price and also the historical price as well. So that looks good. And now down here, we'll go ahead and insert our chart component. So let's see. Down here, we'll do chart, and chart will have a options that will be equal to charts data. And then we'll have series equal to series. And then the type, that'll be equal to a line chart. And then the width will be equal to 1200. Oops. 1200. And then the height, we'll set that equal to 300. All right. And then we'll close that out. Cool, let's save it. See if we get any errors in our code. Set chart is not defined on line 43. Let's see, set chart. Oops, it was set chart data. And chart data. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. And we're loading. Okay. Oh, all right. There it is. Although it's a little bit out of place. Let's go ahead and fix that real quick. Let's see. Okay. So let's take this out. And let's see. So we want it outside of this div there. So we'll just create a div in there. And then we'll just place it in there. There we go. Let's give this some style of display flex and do a justify content center. Okay, so now it is centered. So there is the chart with our prices for Bitcoin in the past 31 days. And here is our price as well in the different currencies. So that's looking good. So yeah, that's the project. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good day.